I just want to put this out there. More Asian women should start dating black men. For real. We need more black and Asian connections in our community. More love, more understanding, more power together.
I'm trying to see what that thing looked like from the back. Quit playing with a player.
I am fucking done. I am done. I am done begging a mother to love me. Done begging him to spend time with me. Like, I swear, some of us women have more balls than you coward-ass men. You take good women. You take good women and you fucking break us down till we can't take no more. Till every fucking man we see makes us want to vomit.
All right, so just a short while ago, I was actually watching a couple of news stories followed by an iPhone Pro Max review by Flossie Carter. So he was complaining about a lot of the shortcomings of the iPhone Pro Max. And, he was saying like, oh, he was upset that it didn't have reverse wireless charging. He wanted it to have titanium instead of aluminum. He was just basically complaining about it compared to the Galaxy phone. And while the Samsung may have more features, the simple fact is people who buy Apple products love Apple's ecosystem and they like iOS. They will never switch over to Android. And a lot of the people who are in the Android system don't like being in the Android system and they come over to Apple in order to get at Apple's ecosystem. So, between the iPad, the iPhones, the EarPods, it's like we just prefer Apple's ecosystem. And I personally love my phone. And I like everything about it. It feels like it's peak iPhone. It has everything that I always wanted out of iPhone and just never got up until this point. It's like at this point, the only thing I could demand is more. So, again, I use the phone to make these videos specifically, just like this one right here. That's the reason why it's not full screen. So anyway, as far as videos go, the stories that popped up about the Passport Bro 2 weeks ago was the story I already covered. Kenyan TikToker who dumped Black American man 12 months after relocating to U.S. speaks. And then there was the next one, which is 1 week ago. It says American man abandoned by Kenyan wife less than a year after marriage. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this story because I pretty much already covered it. And this was October 3rd, 2025. I got to get rid of these goddamn pop-ups because these things are everywhere. But long story short, we heard that story. We were disgusted by it. But my bottom line is that's what happens when you allow these morons who are trying to get you to be pro-black and stuff. Because you got to understand, the Passport Bros are black males who are traveling abroad and they're finding relationships and they're finding marriage abroad, right? The Passport Joes, those are white men. And they do their own thing, and we're not claiming any of that. And the thing about it is a lot of them, they have lots and lots of issues. Like these guys go through TSA, they got ball gags, whips, and all paddles and stuff. And a lot of these dudes are weird. And we're not claiming none of that. We're talking about black men specifically. Those are the Passport Bros, right? So the bottom line is this guy was a Passport Bro. He goes over there. Now, and by the way, he could have gone over there and he could have been pumping and dumping and he could have gotten one of these chicks. He could have screwed with her and then let her on and he could have totally ghosted her. What the hell is this? Unlock for more content. View a short ad. I don't want to see stupid ads. But anyway, stupid ads. It's like they always put some bullshit on these stupid websites to screw with you. I don't want to see a stupid ad. I'm not buying shit from you. So anyway, he could have gone over there. He could have screwed them. And he could have let her on, and he could have disappeared into the sunset and not had to have any more connection with her. But that's not what he did. See, this guy right here is a real Passport Bro. This guy right there. No, not that guy. This guy right there. That's a real Passport Bro. He went over there looking for what every single black man who's not a Pookie or a Ray Ray wanted. He wanted a wife and he wanted children. That's all he wanted. Now, he can't get it here because American women are not only untrustworthy, but they're horrible. And you hear it all the time, so I don't have to go over it. You hear them complaining about going out on dates, being used for a date just so she can eat. The women get you to take them to these nice restaurants. These dudes spend lots of money taking these chicks out to restaurants. And the chicks take photos of the food and they don't even let you know that they're out on a date with the guy. So you have no idea who they're out on a date with. So they take lots of pictures of the food and then they cut you out of the pictures. Like they crop your ass out of the photo. So these dudes are complaining that they hate going out on dates because they feel that the women are unappreciative. They feel like the women are using them for food. So they'll go out with you for lunch and then they'll go out with somebody else for dinner. And it's like, wait a minute. I thought I was investing in a relationship and you're using me for food and you're not even putting me in the photos. Go on these women's Facebooks. They don't show the dude they're with. Like, in fact, I know this chick, and I knew her in elementary school. And she's like in her 40s now, and she just had like her first kid. And I have no idea what the baby daddy looked like because she wasn't married. So I'm like, wait a minute. You posted photos of you being pregnant. You posted photos of the kid, but you didn't post photos of the father. I'm like, that just tells me that you're not proud of him. Or what you basically did was you, how should I say, you settled, or you feel that you settled and you're not proud of the baby daddy, but you the person who got pregnant by him. So it really just, it's disgusting, honestly. And I understand, I totally understand why these dudes are getting their passports and they flying all over the world finding better deals than what they're getting here. I totally understand it. There's a lot of haters who be in my comment, making negative comments, like when I be posting stuff in my community chat. And I do it on purpose. I love triggering them. I love it. And they're mad because older men who are established, who have careers, the men who have the most to offer, they're not going for these baby mamas who got some kid by some other man. They have the ability to get their passports and they're going overseas. They're getting younger wives and they're having their own families completely devoid of this bullshit Western liberal feminism that would create bad women. Unfortunately, some of these dudes are stupid enough to listen to these morons, these pro-black morons, who would suggest that they go to places like Africa. Because you know what's funny? Every time I start talking about Passport Bros and I start talking about Asia, Southeast Asia, and I really do not talk about like Colombia and Brazil. I don't talk about those places because I'm not interested in the women from South America. As far as I'm concerned, I want to get as far away from America as possible. If I could go to Mars and get women, I'd be on Mars getting women. But in this case, yeah, I'm willing to fly 9,000 miles to get as far away from America as possible. I'm talking about the other side of the planet. I'm talking about if you drilled a hole right through the earth, you'd come out on the opposite side of the planet. That's what I'm talking about. Some of these dudes can't afford that, though. I understand. I'm not casting judgment on you. My business class flights, that's like at least $4,000 to $5,000 round trip. Because I make sure that when I fly business class, no, I want business class the whole trip. I'm not one of these people who just gets it for like one part of the flight. No. I want that shit for the whole trip. So on my upcoming trip to Vietnam and Cambodia, it's all business class all the way around. Not only that, I got lounge access. When I land in Japan, I'm taking a shower in that airport. After I get out of there, finish taking that shower. I'm eating up all their food, drinking up all their sake, getting back on the plane, flying down to Vietnam, going to Ho Chi Minh City. Then I'm going to go from Ho Chi Minh City to Phnom Penh, Cambodia. All business class. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I understand. A lot of these people ain't got that kind of money. They ain't got that kind of money to do that. They ain't got that kind of money to do that every single year. They don't have the foresight to say, you know what, I'm going to retire in one of these countries so I don't even have to deal with America no more. Because that's what I'm basically doing. I'm doing reconnaissance and looking at these other countries like, which one of these places am I going to retire in? Because obviously the American dollar ain't going to be worth shit. Obviously, American crime is going to rise as more and more people who have no apartments and no houses turn to crime. So rather than have to worry about myself busting my Desert Eagle at some fool trying to steal my car or trying to break into my house, rather than have to worry about that, I'm doing reconnaissance saying, you know what, I'm going to retire somewhere nice, somewhere safe, somewhere I don't have to worry about like that right now, they're afraid Mom Donnie's gonna let criminals out, like they've been doing, by the way. He's afraid. Oh yeah, well you're just catching and releasing criminals, and they're afraid that the next president's gonna release the borders and let people just cross the border like Biden did, and they're talking all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, listen, I don't even feel like having to worry about that shit. I just want to take my pension, take my Social Security, and disappear. That's all I want to do. So this dude said, yeah, I'm going to go to Africa and I'm going to find a black queen. I guess with a Kween. I'm going to find me a black queen, right? So he goes over to Africa, long story short, because I already covered this. So he gets this rundown rag, like I don't know why it keeps popping. He gets this rag right here. And he thought that was his queen. Now, to tell you the truth, he looks like a regular down-to-earth guy, and probably these women weren't like giving him much attention. Like he was the non-select guy, right? So he goes over there and gets this rag, and she has one kid with him. He makes the mistake of allowing her to come back here to America, and then she ditches him and the child so that she can run off with some white man and play golf and shit on a golf course. And first of all, what bothers me more than anything is the fact that he was basically trying to do right by her, and he got screwed by her. As far as I'm concerned, she's going to suffer for it when she's judged and God asks her, well, why did you leave your man and your child? Because this guy, you look at this guy ain't abusive. She never said anything about abuse. She used this guy to get what she felt was a stepping stone to quote unquote better life, and abandoned her child and abandoned the man that she married. She's going to suffer for this dearly in the afterlife. And that's not my business. God's going to burn her ass. And when he does, I hope I'm there to see it. I hope I have some white cheddar popcorn and some 3D glasses when he burns her ass. So I'm not even worried about that because I already know that's coming. So I'm not even worried about it. But I just think it's just so sad that this dude, he could have used and abused and left her, but instead he did the right thing, and this is how he was repaid for it. So now you got a lot of people warning everybody. They're like, yo, listen, Africa is a bad place to go because, a lot of these women are westernized and they're horrible liberal feminists over there. This one right here in particular, when you look at her, what is it called? Her TikTok, she uses all that skin whitening cream because obviously she has an inferiority complex. And I guess the white supremacist bug has gotten to her. She has an inferiority complex. So she thinks that getting with some white man on a golf club, she thinks that that's a step up. Guess what? Going to golf clubs is basically free. Like that's not expensive at all. We've got golf clubs over here. I could walk onto them. I don't even have to pay a membership fee. That's not really a flex. Everything he's taken her to that she tried to show off in her TikToks, it's like free stuff. It's like going to the gun range. I can go to the gun range for $15. When I take my Desert Eagle and I feel like shooting it, that's $15 to go to the gun range. That ain't a flex. When I want to go to the golf club, I don't golf. If I want to go there, I can get there like $10. It's not a flex. We have like 6 right over here. We have like 6 of them. So my only point is she's going to suffer for this. And I just hope that when I'm in the afterlife too, I get to have some popcorn and 3D glasses so I can watch her suffer. But he's with the kid. She got her green card and stepped off. So basically the main things you got to remember, if you do go foreign and you get yourself a foreign wife, do not bring her back here until she is old. And listen, it's like this. It's like a step by step. This is what you got to do. You go over there, you meet some chick, especially if she's young. You got to definitely be careful with that. If you do choose to marry her and you do choose to have children, you keep her ass over there. If she tries to file for citizenship or green cards, what you do is you put fake fucking information on that shit, or what you do is after you fill it out, you shred that shit and don't let her know about it. And the bottom line is you do not bring them back. Eddie Murphy understood it. He told the joke about Fufu way back in the 80s. You do not bring her back because liberal American feminism is worse now than it was then. And what they'll do, if the women aren't the ones that poison her against you, it'll be her cheating on you with some other dude who she just happens to meet here. And there's no reason why you should be spending your money to finance migrating her ass here just so that she could start some shit. Absolutely no reason. In fact, my recommendation was that this guy calls up President Trump and says that he was a victim of mortgage fraud, and he should say that he's Black MAGA and say, yeah, I want you to ship this dirty right back to where she was. That's what he should do. He should call. I have the number for ICE. In fact, I posted it before. He should call up President Trump. He should call up ICE. Let me tell you something. I would have ICE blow your door off the hinges with C4. Come up in your house strong. MP5, AR-15s, SCAR 20s. I'd have them come up in that house strong. And I guarantee you, Brad would be cowering in the corner, because if Brad makes the mistake of reaching for anything, Brad is getting Breonna Tailored. Just like that. Just like that. ICE would come right up in there and drag your immigration fraud self out of that house. Drag you out of that house if it was me. You're lucky I'm not Trump, because Trump, compared to me, Trump is a choir boy. Because if it was me, let me tell you something. The last thing you would hear is C4 on your door and the guy's going, clear, boom! Door flies off the hinges and ICE comes up in there strong. Make the mistake of fighting ICE. Make the mistake. Make the mistake. I'd love to see it. 3D glasses, white cheddar popcorn. Make the mistake. I guarantee you Brad would be in the corner cowering like a baby. And when they come up in there and slap them ICE cuffs on you and throw you in the back of that ICE van, guaranteed, that would be a message to anybody who wants to try some marriage fraud. That would be the message. Trump is a choir boy compared to me. There's a lot of people, Trump is declaring revenge on all his political enemies. Yeah, As far as I'm concerned, he hadn't gone far enough. So, with that out of the way, that story out of the way, let's go back to the other page. Let's see, where's that? It says, okay, so this is the news story right here. So nobody else has gotten to this because I seem to be at the forefront of this. So it says, why are men from rich countries looking for a life partner in poor countries? What is the passport bro culture controversy? There's no controversy. It says Tuesday, October 7, 2025. Whose page is this? This is some weird ass shit. Insurance Kabar. What is this? India? This looks like Indian. This looks like that Sanskrit stuff that they be writing. That's what it looks like. It says this is by, I don't even know who this is by. Oh, Kathmandu. Okay, I guess. All right. So it says Kathmandu. Nowadays, there's a wave of criticism of feminism on social media. Men are accusing women of forgetting their true nature in their quest for equality. They are also running away from a long-term relationship. The wave of equality is strong in Western countries. As a result, an increasing number of men in rich countries are turning to poorer countries in search of a sustainable partner. Their Western passports are a key factor in this relationship. It's a magnet that connects them to women. I've also reminded you, Eastern men are falling for this problem too. Chinese men are outnumbering Chinese women because of the leftovers of the one-child policy. So Chinese men, for example, as well as Korean men and Japanese men are finding themselves having to get their passports, and they're going down to Southeast Asia. They're going to places like Burma, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore. They're going anywhere else, and they're trying to find younger wives. Because unfortunately, see, in China, if you're a woman and you're older than like 27, they refer to you as Sheng Yu. They refer to you as leftover woman. If you're in Japan, oh my goodness. If you're in Japan, let me tell you something. And before I even talk about that for a second, let me just say this. The Koreans, the South Korean men, if you're older than 27, they refuse to marry you because they refer to you as dirty dishes. So the Chinese refer to you as Sheng Yu. You're a leftover woman. But if you're in South Korea, the South Koreans, they refer to you as dirty dishes. So they're not marrying you like the South Korean men are not doing it. They're going down south, other parts of Southeast Asia, getting wives down there. But the Japanese, let me tell you something. These Japanese guys, let me tell you something. These guys are brutal. The Japanese, they refer to you as Christmas cake. And there's a reason for that. It's because during World War II, after we bombed them, there were shortages of supply on just about everything. They had a shortage of supply for sugar. So it was very hard to get sweets. So their idea of giving gifts was to give somebody a sweet gift. So what ended up happening was people would make cake. Just like here in America, people make you a rum cake, But now the Japanese, they would trade people cake for a Christmas gift. And these people aren't even Christians, so they were doing that basically to symbolize a gift, as they were being basically starting to influence by the Westerners. So ultimately, the problem is, what happens if you get too many cakes? You're a Japanese guy. You can't eat all that cake. You're not a fat American diabetic. You're not going to eat all that cake because that's going to damage your figure. It's too sweet. They're not used to eating stuff like that, right? So the problem is now you have all this leftover cake. So they refer to the women as leftover cake and Christmas cakes because as far as they're concerned, the Christmas cakes are no good after the 25th. The 25th of December is when we celebrate Christmas, right? So they say that these women, if they're over 25, they're no good. They're leftover cake, right? So you follow me, right? Now, here's the problem, though. If you were to go to a Japanese man and you're like, excuse me, sir, why can't you just marry these Japanese women? Why are you going to, Malaysia, Myanmar, Cambodia, Thailand, Philippines? Why are you going down there looking for women who aren't even Japanese, don't speak Japanese? Why are you going down there looking for wives? And you said, well, why don't you just stick with your own kind? Why don't you just marry one of these Christmas cakes? Well, that Japanese man, he's going to get extremely angry with you. He's going to get very, very upset. He's going to look at you. His eyes are going to get extremely narrow. And he's basically going to say, no! No, want the Christmas car! No! No! Do yourself a favor. Never ask a Japanese man, why doesn't he just marry a Christmas cake? Just do yourself a favor. Just don't ask that, okay? So anyway, it says the wave of equality is strong in Western countries. As a result, an increasing number of men in rich countries are turning to poorer countries in search of a sustainable partner. Their Western passports are a key factor in this relationship. It's a magnet that connects them to women. This was around 2010. That's when young men from rich countries, especially young men from Europe, Canada, and the United States and Australia, began to find a partner. There were plenty of dating websites, however, most women were reluctant to commit to long-term relationships. In this situation, the men who tried to settle down found a solution. As people traveled to other countries for medical tourism where they could get better facilities at lower cost, they began to return to poor countries. While traveling there, they would meet local girls, and if they liked each other, they would get married. Many communities were formed quickly. He used to advise like-minded people on where to go. Many websites list the properties of each country in particular. In which countries are communities being formed? Many middle and upper middle class men in the United States believe that marriage is expensive and legally risky. So they are moving to other countries in search of loyal partners. In Canada and the UK, dating culture and economic freedom have also altered traditional relationships. The men are heading to Southeast Asia and Eastern Europe. In Germany, Southeast Asia and Eastern Europe. Yeah, of course. In Germany and Scandinavian countries, the age of men is increasing due to the search for careers. The concept of marriage and family has been weakened. The men there are looking for partners in Eastern Europe, such as Ukraine and Romania. Okay, first of all, Ukraine and Russia have among the highest divorce rates that there are in that entire area. It's way over 90%. That is shocking to me because I always thought that they were okay. But I guess they're not. And I understand that some of it may be coming from the fact that they've literally had a war going on for like the last 5 years. But yeah, that's kind of, it used to be, you see, in America, we used to have the concept of mail order brides. And basically it was like you started off with pen pals, and it was like usually a Russian woman or something trying to escape from behind the wall, the Berlin Wall or something like that. They would try to escape from Soviet Russia. And that used to be the thing. But because of the immigration reforms and everything, now in order to meet one of them and in order to get married, you have to have like a K-1 visa. K-1 visa is also called the 90-day fiance visa. So in order for you to even apply for that, you've got to go over there and you have to meet her. You have to spend time with her. And only by providing proof that you've spent time with her in her country can you apply for 90-day fiance visa. If you provide enough proof to the State Department, they allow you to get the 90-day fiancé K-1 visa. She gets to come here to this country, and she has exactly 90 days to marry you from the time she gets here. And if she doesn't marry you, she ends up getting shipped back, basically. Now, I remember on 90-Day Fiancé, there was this Ukrainian woman, I think it was, and she came over here. She was dating this white dude over here. And from what I remember, it didn't work out, and they ended up shipping her ass right back over there. I think her name was Natalie Mardislova or some shit. I can't even remember. But bottom line is this. The mail order bride concept doesn't exist anymore. A lot of these women, it's funny because on TikTok, they don't even really use that term because a lot of them are so young and stupid that they don't even know that term. But yeah, that used to exist because you got to remember, I was born in the 80s. I'm a millennial. And some of them remember, most of them don't, because most of these TikTok morons are young people from Generation Z. Now, they're upset because now they see American men who are younger Generation Zers waking up and being like, wait a minute, I'm not getting married to any of you because, first of all, I don't trust you. Number two, it's risky to marry you, especially in this country, because you'll just divorce my ass and take half my shit. And number three, I'm first of all, I've got, if they're honest, they'll say, listen, I'm not even settled in my career. I really don't have much to offer yet. But by the time I do, I'm going to be looking at younger goods than your ass. So for the most part, you got to understand, most of these men are not really mature enough and not really settled enough in their careers and settled enough in their maturity. Not until they're probably between 30 and 35. But the scary thing about being a 30 to 35-year-old man is like all the women are after you. The young women are after you. The women your age are after you. And the old women are after you. If you're between 30 and 35, it's like you're a magnet for these women. They call them cougars. If you're between 30 and 35, you're a magnet. You got to get a bat just to beat them off. And you got all these old women, and they're like gumball machines. They got just a couple of eggs up there in that gumball machine, and those eggs are getting ready to drop, and they're like, where can I find me a nice young virile man to fertilize these eggs? And the next thing you know, they come after your ass. Let me tell you something. A 30 to 35-year-old man, chances are first of all, he's lived long enough to see 30 to 35. That tells you that, he must have some intelligence. He's also got his career by then. He's making some serious money by then, probably in the six-figure range. You can't keep these women off you 30, 35. You can't keep them off you. A man in his 20s, you're probably still sitting around playing video games, probably sitting up in your drawers. You just got underwear on. You're sitting there with a PlayStation 5 controller. You got that headset on. You talking shit to people on the internet. That's not maturity. And the women hate that shit. They really hate that. They talk about you behind your back. Yeah, all he does is play video games, and he doesn't pay attention to my needs. So no, that you got to be like 30 to 35. I'll just say it like that. And by that time, you get your passport. You got plenty of money. You go wherever you want to go in the entire world. It says these include the Philippines, Thailand, Colombia, Vietnam, Mexico, Argentina, Serbia, Taiwan, South Korea, and China. Each country is listed with a plus or minus. In Argentina, for example, women are often beautiful and skilled in household chores. However, English is not so common there. Really? I would have thought they spoke English. So if a traveler knows Spanish, things will be easier. Yeah, my Spanish sucks. In fact, it's funny. When I was in high school, my Spanish started getting good because I had a really good teacher, but I forgot all of that stuff. But the only Spanish I know is basically English words and translations. But I can't speak Spanish. I really can't. I'm no good at it. I speak better Chinese than I speak Spanish because I actually lived in China not too long ago. But anyway, war-torn Ukraine is also on the list. Well, you got to understand, Ukrainian women right now are about 75% off. There's a fire sale, a literal fire sale that was started by Vladimir Putin. He's got the whole place on fire, so they have a fire sale going on over there. They're 75% off. The women there are very traditional, according to the Passport Bro. However, they claim that they have no objection to adopting a Western way of life. Many young women want to move to a safer country. Well, let's think about it like this. It says many young women want to move to a safer country because the war has been going on there for so long, so Ukraine is also a top choice. If you were a young woman and there's a 50% chance that a cruise missile is going to hit your building, chances are you'd be looking for an American Western man too. Chances are. If there was a 75% chance that a Russian drone was going to slam into the side of your apartment building, chances are you're going to be looking for a Western man too. If there's an 80% chance that Vladimir Putin is going to send out his what are those, Su-57 felon fighters to drop bombs in your area, chances are you're going to be looking for, a Western man too. If there's a 97% chance that the hunt for Red October is going on outside your house, yeah, chances are you're going to look for an American man. Absolutely, absolutely. You don't want them goose stepping all over your porch, Western passports are the community's biggest weapon. They are using them to contact women in poor and war-torn countries. Well, you know what? Part of that is absolutely because the men are trying to exploit these women in war-torn countries. Because, first of all, these women are gorgeous. They're beautiful. They're relatively physically fit. Now, I can't speak to their connection to Chernobyl, because you do know Chernobyl was over there in near Ukraine and everything. I don't know how much radioactive fallout some of them might be carrying. I really don't know. I do know some of them are pretty. They're thin, they're beautiful, they got blue eyes, they got blonde hair. A lot of them are gorgeous. My only question is, like, what are the cancer rates and how much, like, plutonium and uranium might be in their bloodstream? Because, I mean, you're in the area where Chernobyl happened. And if it didn't get into your parents, I really don't know. Maybe you're carrying some of it. Before I would date one of those women, I actually, believe it or not, I actually have a Geiger counter. And if you don't know what a Geiger counter is, it's like you put it near radioactive material and it goes, and my thing is, it's like I'd have to scan you before I start hanging out with you because I don't know. It's like I might kiss you and there might be like cesium on your lips. And I don't like the idea of getting cancer and shit. I really don't like that idea. So, before they even import them women here, because I know a lot of them are coming here as refugees and everything, I would run them through the Geiger counter and check them, just make sure that, there's no cesium or polonium or anything like that. No radioactive minerals, laying around, like neptunium, make sure none of that shit is laying around. So anyway, there are accusations that this movement is anti-feminist. Of course it is! That's not an accusation. We're fucking telling you it is. Of course it's anti-feminist. Of course it is. That's not an accusation. That's not an allegation. Yes, it is. Why would American men be going to the poorest possible countries in the world and war-torn villages to find wives if they didn't have an anti-feminist agenda? Come on, really? That shouldn't even be a question. Obviously they're anti-feminists. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, come on. Western men want women who don't have dreams of their own. That's not true. That's not true. Western men want women who help them build. That's what it comes down to. Women do not build anything. I passed by a construction site and I videotaped it. The women are there. They got BBLs on a fucking construction site. The men are standing around jackhammering, digging up the ground, cutting up the roads, putting wires in, moving pipes, doing difficult, dangerous, dirty jobs. Meanwhile, the only woman there is standing there. She's got a BBL. That's a Brazilian butt lift. She's got a Brazilian butt lift. She's standing around holding the sign telling the cars that they should slow down. I swear. I got it on tape. Every single time I pass by one of these construction sites, it's the same shit. I've never, ever seen a woman with a jackhammer. I've never, ever seen a woman with, like, dynamite trying to blow stuff, like blow holes in the concrete or anything. I've never seen any of that. I seen men do it. I seen men wiring shit up to blow it up. I seen men with jackhammers and laying big pipes and cement mixes and shit. I've never seen a woman doing any of that. Then they complain that the men make more money. Well, maybe I make more money because I'm the one doing the hard work. That might have something to do with it. I'm not just standing here with a Brazilian butt lift and directing traffic. Hello? Where am I? Western men want women who help them build families, just like this poor soul who made the mistake of going over there to Kenya. They want women to help them build families. Women don't build anything. They can't build anything. What is this? Who follow their lead? Of course, the men are supposed to be the leaders of the family. That's the gender role. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who are trying to confuse the gender roles and a lot of people who are trying to change them because they're not happy with them. Bottom line is, men are always going to revert to the gender role. That's their job. That is their reason for being. They're not going to accept this bullshit where you're trying to degenderize and regenderize them into something else. They're not going to accept it. And the more you push them, the more you're going to see them turn on you. And when they turn on you, most of the time, it will be violent. It will be violent. What is that movie? There will be blood. They're not going to go for it. In fact, at this point, I'd say it's obvious they're not going for it anymore. You had your fun, what is it? Talking down to men and talking down to boys. At this point, they're ready to turn on you. And now when I say they're ready to turn on you, this generation ain't tolerating you one bit. And when they turn on you, I'm going to be sitting right there in front of my 70-inch television with my popcorn and my peanuts, and I'm going to have my feet up watching you get yours because they're not playing with you anymore. I think the recent news report, oh, why are these young men so violent? Why are they reaching for weapons? And why are they domestic terrorizing us? They're not tolerating it anymore. They've reached a point where they've decided that it's war. That's where you are. So if you want to keep messing with them, you go right on ahead. But when they turn on you and they bring that violence to you, I'm going to be sitting right on my couch watching it. And I'm going to have my nice cheddar popcorn. I'm going to have some butter and popcorn, be sitting there with my 3D glasses on, and I'm going to be watching you get yours because you were warned and you're still screwing with them. And then they're not playing with you. They're not playing with you. Oh, why are these young men, is the propensity of violence? Yeah, you're going to get yours. And they're not playing no more. They're not. This is war. That's what this is. This is not a friendly conversation. Because there's some people out here that are so stupid that they think that they can just sit out in the middle of a crowd and challenge people to arguments. They seriously think somebody's trying to argue with them. That's what they think. They seriously think somebody's playing games with them. They seriously think that somebody feels like standing out having a debate. This is not a debate. This is not a friendly argument. This is not a friendly conversation. This is war. That's what you're up against. So you can heed my warning or not. Makes no difference to me. I've got plenty of popcorn. So anyway, where is this? And who aren't as independent as their own women. All the ladies independent, throw your hands up in the air. All the ladies independent, throw your hands up in the air. Y'all let Beyonce, a woman who's got a husband, Jay-Z, a rich husband, y'all let Beyonce convince you that you're better being independent. Y'all let Tyler Perry, a cross-dresser. Now, and don't get me wrong, I like Tyler Perry because he has like one of my favorite hobbies, RC airplanes, and he's pretty good at it. But the bottom line is, y'all let Tyler Perry convince y'all that, what is it, I can do bad all by myself? Well, okay, fine. You let them convince you let two people convince you that you didn't need no man and you were better off independent and all that. And all you had to do was just get highly educated. You'd be better than... Yeah, how's that working out for you? That fabulous at 40 bullshit is hilarious to me. You're crossing 40, the eggs are gone, empty, and they're gone, and there's no more eggs in the gumball machine. And then you wake up and realize, maybe feminism wasn't such a good idea. I'm single, childless, and unmarried. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Every time a man tried to tell you that you're doing something wrong, you ignored him. Every time a man tried to tell you you shouldn't dress like that, stop slut-shaming me. That's what you said. You refused to take the leadership. Now you're going to take the ass whipping from life itself. Okay? I'm done with the editing and the self-censorship. I'm telling you like it is. Feel free to ignore me. Makes no difference to me. I got my popcorn, got my peanuts, got my TV, got my couch. Okay? So anyway, that's why they're going back to poorer countries where women want to get out. Goddamn right I want to get out. Vladimir Putin is over there shooting at me. He's gonna send a cruise missile right through my garden. He's gonna send a cruise missile. Yeah, of course they try to get out. Goddamn right they try to get out. Let me tell you something. If you are a white man and you want a gorgeous, beautiful, one of the Russians or one of the Ukrainians, now's the time to act. They are 75% off. It's a fire sale. Vladimir Putin says everything must go. In fact, it's gotten so bad they don't care what color you are. You can be black, you can be Hispanic. If you're interested in having a wife named Svetlana, SVET, Svetlana, I don't even know how you're supposed to pronounce that shit. You want yourself a wife, and her name is what's another Russian name? Her name is Svetlana Padinka or something. What was her name? Grinka? Grinka, yes. You want a wife named Grinka? You want a wife named, what's another one of them Russian names? What's her name? Okay, Svetlana is my favorite. I'm trying to think of another one. I don't know why. I'm drawing a blank. What's another Russian name? Mariana? I don't know. Bottom line is, now's the time to act. Because Vladimir Putin's up there lobbing artillery shells, and frankly, they're trying to get the hell out of there.
How I Met My Black Boyfriend, Part 1. I came to Alaska from Ukraine and lived there for 6 months. I never thought I would end up in Alaska, but life happens. I was working at a fish factory where my job was to process fish all day. It was a very hard job, but also there was many Ukrainians, so I always had people to talk to. But among all of these familiar faces, I noticed one black guy. He was dark-skinned, very handsome, and different from everyone else. And yes, he was American. At first, we didn't talk at all, and we didn't even look at each other, but for some reason I kept paying attention to him. We had a mutual friend, and thanks to him, we slowly started talking. Then, one night changed our life. We all went to the party, we drank a little too much, and that made it easier to talk. So that night we finally had a real conversation. We was joking a lot and got to know each other better. And that was just the beginning.
Oh, I love American man. Yes, absolutely. Oh, you want to meet? Oh, yes. My name is Svetlana. My name is Svetlana. Yes, I'm ice skating superstar. Yes, yes, yes. I'm very interested in meeting you. Oh, very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. Uh-huh. I was telling you, I had this German girl. German girl came over here the other day. The day I got my iPhone, she's over here, and she's switching me from AT&T to Verizon. What an adorable woman. All I can say is what an adorable woman. And she was so German, it was like she just got off the boat. What an adorable young lady. What an adorable, so adorable. So just so feminine and so nice. You know? She came in my house, she took her shoes right off. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't even ask her to take her shoes off, and she's got them feet out like it's OnlyFans. So adorable. It's like, I tried to keep her over here as long as I could, but then it started getting late, and I was like, you know what, I got to get you out of here, because it's starting to get dark. And, I felt really bad for that Ukrainian girl who was on the bus who got stabbed up by that mentally ill guy. But bottom line is, it's like she was over, it's a damn shame, too. How you going to run from Vladimir Putin? You're going to flee to America and then get killed on an American bus by like some American mental ill person. That's just crazy. Like, I mean, you were better off over there in Ukraine. Or at least you were safer, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what their buses are like. But that's a damn shame. So yeah, right now, everybody, if that's what you're interested in, you want yourself a James Bond chick, Natalie Borislova, Molotova, if that's what you're interested in, now's the time. Now's the time. You can play James Bond every night. She's laying in bed, you walk up to the door, and you got you got your play tuxedo on. Yes, the name is Bond. James Bond. Yeah, anyway, supporters of the feminist movement are also calling it a cover for sex. Oh no, how dare you? Now they're talking about sex toys. See, they can't accept the fact that men just want wives and children and families. They have to take it to the next level. Now, these women have been trying to paint the passport bros as human traffickers. That's got nothing to do with the passport bros. What you're talking about is the transport bros. Those people are bad guys. We have nothing to do with them. They're called the transport bros because they transport hoes. We have nothing to do with them at all. Absolutely nothing. So it says they say their women are not willing to get married or commit to a long-term relationship. They are busy building careers or traveling around the world. As a result, men who want to settle down are looking for a suitable partner. People are flocking to many Asian countries in search of a marriage partner. Foreign nationals have to go through lengthy legal procedures and documents. This community, on the other hand, generally looks for a simpler and faster way. And it looks like that's the end of the story. Insurance Kabar. I've never heard of these people before. Obviously, it's India or Indian or something. It says insurancekabar.com. I've never heard of these people. It says our team chairman Keshab Prasad Bandari. And the executive editor is Jayaram Gautam. And it says news desk, and then it says, yeah, this is some Indian channel. I don't know what, but you know what's crazy? Indian men are doing the exact same thing. Indian men are going to these Asian countries, East Asian countries from India, and they're looking for women too, because the problem is India has a similar problem to China because they had their own version of the one-child policy. So what you have is a lot of Indian men who are unable to get wives. And the problem is a lot of the women there are, they still have a caste system. A lot of the women there are basically what they consider untouchable, so they can't marry them. I would say that the arranged marriage is slowly making a pullback because they're having the exact same problems that Western men are having. My theory is it's mostly because of capitalism and it's because of the internet. When women got access to iPhone and they got access to the internet, and then they also got access to capitalism in the form of them going and working and getting access to all this Western ideology through media. What you have is an issue, because see, most of these men, they just want traditional marriage where they go out and work, they bring home the money, they hand it to the woman, she pays all the bills with his money, and then she feeds the kids with his money and builds the house with his money. I've met so many of these foreign men, especially Indian, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I've met so many of these guys. Their wives are at home. They're in another country working. And this always happens when I go to Dubai, when I go to Maldives. I always meet these men and they're sending money home to their wife who they haven't even seen in a long time. They're paying for 100% of the family. It's not 50-50 like this bullshit that they're pulling here in the West. They're paying 100% for their wives. And their wives are paying the bills and feeding the family because they're sending money home to them. But see, when women get access to capitalism, and now women realize, oh yeah, all I got to do is show, like, what was it? I was watching Piers Morgan, like, I think it was yesterday. And these women getting on OnlyFans, jiggle their ass, show their feet off, fart in jars, and mail it to people. And they think, oh, well, I can make money. I don't need him. Once that shit starts happening, that's when that whole traditional marriage thing falls apart. It's really ironic and sad, but the only thing that really creates a traditional marriage environment is poverty. If you look at Southeast Asia, like I noticed this when I was in Bali and Indonesia, the women are completely beholden to the men there because their economy doesn't support women. They're very child oriented, but their economy, the women could have jobs, absolutely. But that economy down there without a man, without a husband, those women, no, they'd be basically working poor. And I'm pretty sure most of them don't want to be working poor. But when you come over here to the West and you basically got women just being handed jobs, whether it's by DEI, because that's really what it comes down to. Trump and the Republicans and all of them, they getting rid of DEI because it's been supporting white women, and white women have literally been turning them down for marriage and basically saying, I'm not having your children. Now, as I've pointed out, the census says that white births had basically stayed flat, and what was it, Asian and Hispanic births had risen. They say that in order for you to have a stable population, you have to have 2.7 children. But what they've been bringing back is 1.6. So the reality is, this is really an effort to control women. It's an effort to get women back into poverty, I guess, so that basically they'll be beholden to men again. I don't think that's going to work, especially when we live in a society where you basically show off your feet and flash your ass on the camera, and that allows some simp somewhere to spend money and send you cash apps and stuff, cash apps, PayPal, this, that, and other. I don't think it's going to work that way. But the bottom line is, I've noticed in these impoverished countries, no, the women and the men serve their gender roles to a T. They ain't got a choice but to serve their gender roles. Even the least attractive, ugliest women do everything they can to make themselves as pretty and as feminine as possible so that they can attract a man, because they know that they do not want to live down there without having a man. Now, as time has passed and feminism has grown, it's like you still have, they got these Korean women, these Chinese women, these Japanese women. Oh, I don't need a man. Why must my family refer to me as a shungnu and a leftover woman and Christmas cake? Oh, I don't necessarily need a man. In fact, there's so many relationships that are abusive, and women are 10 times more likely to be killed by a husband and all this nonsense. Like, they're really pushing these stereotypes and statistics. Oh yeah, your husband is more likely to do this and that to you. And okay, you know what? Bottom line is, all I can say is that those very same women that will refuse to give their men those traditional relationships are the same ones that the passport bros are wifing up. And you'd think, well, wait a minute. If you refuse to give your own men that relationship, well, why are you dating these passport bros and marrying them? And most of them, oh, well, he was taller and he was more attractive and he was so much nicer and friendlier. It's just like when I was living in China. Dating in America sucks. But when you go outside the country, you go to these other countries, just about every passport bro, just about every man who goes to one of these foreign countries and dates, they're like, yo, it's like night and day. The women are so much nicer. It's like, you take them out for dinner, they act appreciative. It's like American dating sucks. And what's funny is even the women are saying that now. But their problem is that now the men are like, yo, I don't even want to deal with you no more. I'm getting my passport. I'm getting up out of here. And it's really a shame. I'm what is it? I never imagined in all my life, from when I was a younger boy, I never imagined that things would be the way they are now. I never imagined that, marrying and buying a house and having children, I never imagined that would be a struggle. I thought that was just what people did. I thought that was just the thing to do. But they literally figured out a way to screw it all up. And will things turn around? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to turn around anytime soon. They've given women a level of ego that they're not going. They've basically put women direct competition with men. And if you're going to have women compete with men, they had to give women an ego that basically says, yeah, I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you, I'm badder than you, and I don't need you. Here's the problem. That it's just not true. It's just not true. The men have a level of stability that women just won't have. When men get older, those same men are going to go get themselves a younger wife, and those old women are going to be staring at them with anger and awe and disrespect and jealousy and vengefulness. And it's like it didn't have to be that way, but this is what you allowed to happen. I'm sorry. So, I just don't know. I don't know where things are going. I can't even pretend that I do. But as far as I'm concerned, things are just going to get worse. And you'll see it with Generation Z. And then you'll see it with Generation Alpha. Because, see, Generation Z has a whole new set of circumstances. They can't afford shit. They can't afford houses. They're poorly educated. They're poorly skilled. They can't do anything. And Generation Alpha, they're just a dumpster fire. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. This is the reason why you've got all these politicians talking about, what is this shit called? Universal minimum income and all this. And they basically want to pay you to keep you alive because they're afraid that you're just going to turn to crime. And it's just going to get worse. That's all I can say. It's only going to get worse. But that was the story, or I should say those were the stories. But, I don't know what to say. It's an ugly situation, and it's only going to get worse. What I do know, however, is that I'm not far from retirement. And when I retire, you're going to see me. I'm going to be on the beach. I'm going to have a wife a third my age. And she's going to be rubbing me down with coconut oil and feed me buko juice. And I'm going to be on the beach with no aspiration. I ain't going to be working because a lot of y'all are going to end up working till you're dead. A lot of y'all are going to end up working and you're going to have to do side jobs because the money's just not worth anything anymore. Hell with that. I'm going to move me to one of these foreign countries. I'm going to move to one of these poor foreign countries, one of them poor-ass foreign. I want to move to one of these foreign countries where the average person make $10,000 a year. Now, here I come with my $100,000 a year pension. And I'm going to live there quietly like a king. I'm just going to be I'm going to be king me. And I'm just going to, hell, I might even import a throne I might even get them to build me a wooden throne, for all I know. It'll be a big wooden chair like Game of Thrones. I don't know. Bottom line is, my retirement is not going to be, I ain't going to be doing no work. I'm going to be sitting back, enjoying my children. And that's it. And I have no aspirations beyond that. Because a lot of you got to understand, a lot of you, and I'm talking even to the feminist women who might be listening to this, because I got a lot of y'all trolling and shit, like you'll be leaving comments and shit, like some, bottom line is, a lot of y'all are going to end up single, childless, and unmarried. But the passport bros aren't. The passport bros, especially the smart ones, because now we've seen the warning. We're going to get married in a foreign country, preferably one that doesn't have divorce. And we're going to keep her right over there where you can't touch her, you can't talk to her, you can't even see her. And we're going to keep her ass right over there. We're going to have our whole family, our children, going to raise them and everything. And if she ever does set foot on this soil, it'll be when she's old and gray. And we're going to stay right over there. We're going to enjoy our retirement. We're going to have a good time. And that's that. It's just that simple. So that's all I basically had to say. That's the story. I hope you enjoyed it. My point exactly. Men build, women don't. So here you got the big tough men, and they're digging up everything, and they're building everything, and we're building the world, right? And keeping it running. What you got here is the chick with the BBL and the slow down sign, and she got the BBL and just chilling. And that's what y'all got here. You got this chick with the BBL. So I'm like, yo, listen, I don't want to hear that thing about why do men get paid more. It's because men do dangerous, difficult, and dirty jobs, and the women do not.
Island full of women waiting. On a quiet island in Indonesia, girls stand at their doors every single day, waiting, watching, hoping, not for money, not for fame, but for a man, any man, to stop and choose them. Most of the men here are gone. The sea took many, the city took the rest. So all that's left The women, and these women, they're ready. They don't play hard to get.
Don't worry, baby. He's just a nerd.
Why do they always pick thugs?
Hey, baby. Remember me?
Beat it, chick.
Why can't I find a good man?
I'm in a bind, Nate.
I'm looking for U.S. citizenship. Can y'all give it to me, please? I cook, I clean, I fuck, and I shut the fuck up. U.S. citizenship, please.
To be continued.